Good evening, everyone. I'm Miranda, Director of the Hong Kong Federation of Youth Groups Leadership Institute. Thank you very much for joining us on this happy Friday. Before going out for a drinks or meeting of friends, so we have a very exciting evening because we're going to tell you how you can seize the chance to apply for a full scholarship and one of the top, I would say it's actually the best university in Asia when you want to pursue your further study in public administration and public policy. And today is our great honor to have two alumni of the programs to share with us about an exciting journey in Singapore in this program and how this can actually help them advance their career. Okay, so actually joining us today, we have Dan Jern. Mr. Dan Jern, hello. He's actually the founding director of the Asia Pacific Youth Development Foundation, as well as Jay Chen. I will let Jay to introduce himself because he's actually doing a startup very interestingly, and of course, he's also our committee member. So I will let him introduce his official title later. So without further ado, let me first have Dan to share with us about his exciting journey in the MPA program, that is the Masters of Public Administration, that takes about 1 year. If you want more details about all these programs, later on we will have our Chief Strategy Officer, Mr. Jackie Yeung, to tell you a little bit more. Okay, so Dan, it's your time.
Okay. Hello, can you all see my screen?
Yes, clearly.
Okay, thank you. Yep, and welcome everyone. I'm Dan from the LKY school and just graduated from the MPA program. Today I'm very happy to share with you about my learning journey in the LKY school. Before that, let me show you a little bit about what is the public policy, because we are a public policy school. So that actually before going to study, it will be better for us to have a brief understanding about what is the public policy. Actually, it's like a cycle from defining the problem, for example, like the housing problem, air pollution, all of the different issues. And then we have some alternative, some criteria for the certain policy that we want to achieve. And then we also evaluate the outcome and also kind of fund the trade-off. And so that I think policy is actually an interesting topic if you want to wish to build up something for the society, for your community at a more public level with a greater impact. And that's why I think it is something for you if you have the same dream about influencing the society or making an impact for your ventures and also for your own career. And then, sorry, wait a moment. Yep. And then secondly, it's about actually what is about your passion. And I think it will be also asked when you are going for the admission of the interview, because actually there are, for the public policy students, you will probably need to touch with different social issues. And to summarize, I think the SDG provide quite a clear framework that you may tap yourself into the different SDG area. For example, for myself, my NGO is more focusing on the quality education. And also we are also focusing on the industry innovation, because we also want to build up the future skills. Similar with the HKFYG, there are many good programs to equip the youngsters with the decent work, economic growth for the future skills. And also, it may be the reduced inequalities that we want to bridge the poor and the rich together, and then closing the income gap. So that I think if you are interested in the public policy, maybe you can film yourself and tag yourself into the different SDG area and goals and see which one will be your passion. And okay, let me also have a brief introduction of myself. I'm an NGO consultant, and as Miranda mentioned, I was also a founder of an NGO which we focus on the youth mobility and also youth education. And to me, my expertise also lies in communications, because before doing my NGO work, I was a travel reporter, and I will share with you more about my personal journey. How do I transform from a travel reporter to a NGO practitioner? And then, yeah. Before, actually, when I was graduating from the Hong Kong Baptist University with the communications. And for my early career, I was actually in some online media as a travel worker, and also in some corporation for the community relations. And I found that it is something relevant to me and something very important that actually having some relevant experience for the admission is very important. And because for the public policy school, especially for the NUS, it is very competitive. And you better have a more relevant profile and let them know why you are relevant to the public sector. And for the public sector, it means, for example, you may be working in some government projects, the government itself, some public organization like the Hong Kong STP, the Science Park, Cyberport, something like that will be something value added. Meanwhile, actually in recent years, they also value the people from the NGOs. For example, if they know you are associated with the HKFYG, it will be probably a value added point for them because they also want to have some diversity. And also they also want some new force for the program so that we can have different ideas and greater diversity for the program. And meanwhile, actually, apart from my full-time work, I have been involved in different charities organizations in Hong Kong, apart from my co-founded ones. And that's why it is also something relevant to my profile for the application. And I may share with you more if you're interested to know more. And then for the study itself, actually, because we were one of the first COVID cohort, we also named ourselves. So that for the first semester, actually, it was online. And then it was something similar to what you are experiencing right now here. We are doing some Zoom meeting with all the different classmates. And the classmates are from different countries. The diversity is really good. For example, we have some classmates from Singapore, from Indonesia, India, Vietnam, Thailand, all the countries you can name in the Asia, and also some are from the European, from the USA. So that I think the diversity makes the class very interesting, even though it is a Zoom. And then also what they taught is quite interesting. I think my vendor will share with you more about some questions about actually what is the teaching style, what is the teaching style there. And actually, when I finished my first semester online, and then for the second semester, I fly to Singapore, and you can see the background is Singapore. Actually, I was in a co-working space in my friends, and then to take some of the courses. Because for the second semester, it was a hybrid, which means we can choose whether we want to stay online or we can go back to the campus. And of course, it is a privilege to go back for the campus learning because the interaction with the classmates, with the lecturers is quite different for the online and the campus learning. And then actually, some of the interesting or funny thing is when seeing my classmate, when I was waiting for the traffic light, and then waiting my classmate, and then they said, we stopped with each other for about 10 seconds or more. And then he said, oh, it's fine. And oh, yes, stop. Because we didn't really see each other before our first day in the classroom, in the campus. And because we are wearing masks so that we cannot recognize each other. So I think it is something quite interesting with the COVID cohort, even though the physical interaction may be less than the previous other cohorts, but actually the bonding is never diminishing. And actually to us, it is quite a funny experience to really recognize the true face when we are seeing each other in person. And then this is our campus. It is located near the Botanic Garden, and it is also one of the heritage of the Singapore, so that it is actually the campus environment is really nice, very decent. And then it is some of our classroom. We are doing some presentation, and for the presentation, this one actually I was taking the lead because we are talking about the media landscape in Hong Kong, and then we have given the freedom to choose which city or which region we would like to focus on some specific issues. And I was sharing about the changing media landscape in Hong Kong and how we can respond to the challenge of the current media landscape. And then my classmates, some are from Malaysia, from the mainland China, from the India. It is a quite interesting mix so that we all have a different perspective and also different experience in all other countries. So I think it is something makes the study quite interesting. And this one is another classes we talk about the city development, and then it is also some classmates from Thailand, from Norway, and also from the India, and we talk about the urban planning of Singapore and how we can take the lessons from Singapore for other countries and cities, for example, like the China, like Hong Kong or India. Is there something takeaway that we can do? And for this class, it is quite interesting. Apart from the lecture learning, we also have some field trip. And you can see at the left-hand side, there is a guy, is also a Hong Konger and also alumni of HKFYG called John Poon. We are in the same class for this lesson, and then we have some field trip to study about the digital district. It is called the Pongo, one of the developing district that will be fully digitalized in the coming years. And then that's why we have a cycling tour with the classes, with all the classmates together to study about the area and learn about the urban development. And also this is the classroom area, the classroom environment. And then apart from the classroom, actually we have quite a lot of interaction with our classmates. And then, for example, we go to hiking, we will go for badminton, we will go for hot pot, and they like the mala forward very much. I don't know why. And that's why we sometimes, and very often actually we go for dinner together. Sometimes we may go for beers, we may go for different lectures, because apart from the very busy and the very tight study schedule, it is very important for us to have the bonding. And I think for the master experience, actually, it is about the friendship, and the bonding is somehow equally important, or to me, even more important than the study itself, because I think it is something irreplaceable, and you can only do it when you are physically, or when you are in the campus or in the Singapore, or whatever virtually, because once the connection are passed, you cannot rebuild it again. So that I think the bonding and the connection is actually really important. And then we also gather with different Hong Kong people. Actually, for my cohort, there are about 5 Hong Kongers. Some of them most of them are associated with the HKFYG, actually, so that you can see the power of the HKFYG is really strong. Even in Singapore, we have very good alumni, we have very good classmates who share the same background. Actually, most of them are dragons. From Dragon 100, and that's why we have some bonding together. And I think it is really good to have someone who can speak the same language in the foreign places. And this is some of our class gathering. You can see that we have actually, my class committee is quite active. We organize our monthly gathering, so that you can see on the top right-hand side, we have some beers. We visit some restaurant, and the bottom left, we have some ice cream. It is with my graduate project groups made, because apart from the study itself, we also want to build a friendship and do the bonding together. And that's why in some day they said, let's get a good photo and do something together for fun. So that's why we went for some ice cream tour, and then went for my classmate house for some good meals and something like that. And also we visit some of the museums together with the classmate. So that I think it is something interesting. And also at the end of the program, because the official graduation will be after 1 year more, so that actually I didn't finish my official graduation ceremony. But what they do is they have a closing ceremony. Originally, it was in a dinner, a celebration dinner, but because of the COVID, we cannot name it as dinner, and we cannot actually have the meals served on the venue, and that's why we name it as the closing ceremony. And we have gathered all the professor, classmates together in the safety distancing measures, and then we have this one for the different classmates for different batches, and also treasure and also appreciate the effort by our school, which they are actually investing quite a lot on the cohorts and on our students for the good experience in terms of the academic, and also for the non-academic. And actually, I think another thing is quite interesting. I think the professors there is very nice. For example, actually, even after the semester, I have days some of my professors for some lunch to sit there advice, and they are very they're very willing to share what they learn, what they think about different projects. So that I think it is something very valuable and something it is for your personal development apart from the academic development. And also for the final part of my sharing is let me share a little about life beyond the HKFYG. Actually, after my graduation, I have been involved in the founding alumni chapter of the HKFYG, and we have invested the foreign Minister of former Minister of the Foreign Affairs, George Yao, to share with us together with the Dean of the school and also with the Consul General in Hong Kong of Singapore to share about the post-COVID development and how they see about the collaboration between Hong Kong and Singapore, quite insightful. And luckily, because with our HKFYG identity, we can identify and find them all together to sit down for a Zoom meeting to discuss this kind of things. And also, the learning for me is also quite useful because, for example, when I was doing some other training for NGOs in Hong Kong, actually I can adopt some of the framework that I done for my program, and I think it is something valuable. And when I talk to others about my study experience, I'm also very happy, and I think it's something value-adding to your own career and also for your life. And also we because of the HKFYG connection, we are sometimes invited. For example, for this dinner, it's actually just happening last week. It's by the Singapore Chamber in Hong Kong because the executive director invited us, okay, can I have your alumni people to attend and then to get connected with our Singapore community? And that's why we see the Consul General again and also see our other Singapore people doing business in Hong Kong, like the DBS people, like some other entrepreneurs, very interesting community. And also we have some dinner with the Consul General office together because of the event we organize, and then we have some follow-up event. So that I think the life before and after the HKFYG is quite different to me, and I really treasure and appreciate the opportunities, and I believe, and I strongly believe that you will also benefit from the HKFYG nomination and the program so that you can have your career and have your fresh perspective about how the work is running. And that's my part. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Dan. I feel so jealous of all your exciting journey and all the different exposure. And I'm sure the school, Lee Kuan Yew School of Public Policy, National University of Singapore, has really given you a lot, not just the academic studies, but also a wider network for you to further pursue your dream and making a real impact in our society. Thank you very much. I will go back to you for some questions. And now may I have Jay Chan to share a bit about the programs of MPP, Master of Public Policy. And I love the audience, actually. Some of them have actually started asking questions privately, right? Please do send us more so that we have more dynamic discussions during the Q&A session. Time for you, Jay. Thank you.
Okay. Could I just share maybe some slides about like applying the NUS program, something like that?
Yeah. Could you just share? I guess you have the rights. Yeah.
Is it okay? Right
Yeah. We are watching the same shared screen. Okay. Wonderful. Thank you. Yeah. Okay, Jay is a tech guy. Okay.
yeah, kind of. So so I guess most of you enjoyed the sharing from Dan a lot because there are lots of photos, great experience there in Singapore. So maybe I'll share a little bit more about my experience, when applying the program and, my thoughts and, what changed me, something like that. Okay. So I was actually applying the MPP program in 2019. I was doing the interview during my trip in North Europe. So that's kind of an interesting experience. It was in the midnight, I remember. So I'll share a little bit about my experience since then. Okay, I use the title of virtual reality because, the biggest difference, between me and Dan is actually that I didn't really go to Singapore for my degree, but I do enjoy lots of the contents and the programs. Okay, Let me share. Okay, so let's start with applications. So I guess there are lots of things you got to prepare for the MPP program. So MPP program is actually more intensive, I guess, more intensive than the MPA program because this is a 2-year program. And there are lots of different kinds of courses you have to take. For example, the foundation of public policy, the foundation of statistics, and all about, how to do a proper public policy analysis. And there are so many things to catch up within 2 years. And I guess the standard never really loosened because of the limited time of the program. They do keep up a very high bar of the requirements. So it was quite a intensive program. So when I do the application, I do a lot of study about the program, what is going on about the program, what should I prepare for that, and all these things. For example, I try to separate the work or maybe the tasks that I've done for applying this program. So I do a lot of study about why NUS, because there are pretty much different kinds of options about public policy. You have public policy schools in Hong Kong and also in US and elsewhere. But why NUS? You have to answer that. And I'm pretty sure every interviewer will ask you that question. Why do you choose NUS, HKFYG, and why this MPP program? You have to answer that properly and with your ideas, your own ideas. And of course, you have to prepare the reference letters. You have to prepare several reference letters so that you can support why you are choosing this program and why you're qualified for this program. And just as Dan shared previously, I'm sure you are from different kinds of background, and NUS HKFYG is not selecting students only from public policy backgrounds. So people like me, I'm actually from media background and tech background. I'm doing startup before and also now, but I'm still able to get into the public policy program. So you have to find the linkage between your personal experience, your background, your interests, and the public policy. So of course you have to prepare everything, fill in the application form and all these things. So most important thing is that you have to start to do your application as soon as possible. Do not wait until the deadline. Okay, don't do that. So getting started, there are pretty much things you have to prepare, the admission stuff. There are lots of COVID-19 testing previously, and I'm sure you still have to do something like that for now. But I remember there are no stay-home notice for now if you are from Hong Kong traveling to Singapore, but of course you have to be vaccinated. So after the application and got the offer, so I have to do a lot of testing, submitting all these traveling documents, visa, health check, all these things. And of course, you have to deal with the panic because there are so many stuff you have to prepare. Okay, just those documentation stuff. Okay, apart from that, after the school sent you the offer and you accepted it, you have to do a lot of preparation because those, the staff from the school, they will send you a lot of things, instruction, all these things. You have to fill in a lot of forms. I remember I was quite panicked about that. I don't know what procedures. You have to get familiar with those portals used by NUS. You have to, look at those documents and, what kind of programs you have to take, that kind of things. Okay. And then apart from all these things, you have to deal with people, which is your classmates, your future classmates. They're kind of very active. They form a lot of different kinds of groups. I remember we have WhatsApp groups, we use Office 360s, forming different kinds of groups, pages, all these things, talking everything together on Facebook, elsewhere. And then you have to get familiar with that because once you started your study there, you have to know which classmate is good and you can get familiar with. because there are so many people from, all other countries. I'm sure there must be cultural differences between people. So you have to find the right person, right group mates for yourself, so that you can get everything hands-on quickly, because you don't have time to slowly adapt it to the intense environment of NUS. So yeah, it is very competitive there. So when we get started, there were so many Zoom meetings previously because we are not able to get to Singapore. So we did a lot of Zoom meetings with, dozens of people there. And there are so many emails you have to send, so many documents you have to download and read before everything starts. And you have to register different kinds. You have to install different kinds of softwares so that they can, for example, like before we started the statistic course, we have to install a software so that we can, make use of it to learn the technique of doing statistic analysis. So there are staff teaching you how to install those software, all these things. Okay, so when you really started the study there, so there are so many things you have to prepare and you have to get used to. The first thing must be the cultural differences between the school and yourself and the classmates, because just as Dan said, there are so many people from all over the world. We have people from Australia, UK, Afghanistan, Thailand, Philippines, all these peoples, which all of them, they're kind of like having so many cultural differences. So there are so many, jargons you have to learn, different kinds of language you have to learn, because sometimes they joke around with their own languages. And it's fun because you know more about, different kinds of culture. And it's not fun because there are so many languages you have to deal with. That's one thing. And the second thing is that there will be, I'm sure there will be some changes, especially we're still under the shadow of COVID-19. There must be different kinds of arrangement from the school or maybe from the government that you have to get used to. So make sure you are prepared for that. And of course, the workload is pretty challenging, but I think it really depends, to what kind of people you are. So for me, there are lots of homework tests every week, but I kind of love it because that actually makes me, really get dirty about what is public policy, what is public policy, because I didn't really do a lot of in-depth study about public policy. I'm just interested to it. I did something related to public policy and NGO, but I didn't really do a lot of academic study about that. So when I really, started the program there are tests. There are so many fundamental concepts I had to get used to. There are many papers that I have to read, which is kind of, eye-opening, and I learned a lot. So after you started everything, so you started getting over it. So, you will be summarizing what you have been learned, and what people you met, and most importantly, you will think about that. How did I manage to survive? And that's very important because the workload there is so heavy, and everyone's complains about that, but we still managed to survive. And of course, we learned a lot. We grabbed the opportunity and to reach out to different kinds of things. For example, many of my classmates, they joined the exchange program to other countries in US and elsewhere, which is actually pretty exciting. So I guess after getting into the program for me, I didn't really know much about public policy studies. And I didn't really know about this situation in Singapore. I know a little bit, but not that kind of in-depth. And for now, is kind of different because when I got into the program, there are so many people sharing different kinds of ideas, even if we are talking about the same thing. So previously, when I was working in Hong Kong, it's kind of like there were so many people talking about the concept of echo chamber. But after I got into the program, studying in MPP, there were so many different kinds of sharing, so many different ideas. Especially I'm from startup aspect, and there are other people from other startup as well. They're from big unicorns, for example, like Grab, Uber, that kind of people. They join the MPP program as well, and then they're sharing why public policy is so important, to their industry, even if we're talking about startups. So I guess that's kind of inspired me that public policy isn't just talking about government stuff or something very boring. But if we really understand the concept behind it, it's all about rules and regulation and how the system can shape the society and make an impact. So that's why I guess this is a very good opportunity to actually all of you to take a look at it, join it, apply for it, and take the chance offered by HKFYG to get to know the world. Okay, so here's my personal contact, and yeah, that's all of my sharing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jay. I have to declare interest. We never pay my two wonderful speakers for studying so much about HKFYG and HKFYG Leadership Institute, but definitely it's a great honor to work together with the renowned Lee Kuan Yew School of Public Policy to nurture more leaders. I mean, for those who are actually online or who are going to join, or if you have friends around, it's not just a chance for this HKFYG Leadership Institute, but also for other members or alumni who have been engaged with HKFYG. So, and of course, you are making the right choice for joining us in this session. So we have around like 20 minutes left, but I still would love to seize the chance to ask a few questions and see what Dan and Jay would answer. And then we will have Jackie to talk a little bit more about the program itself, the application process, and then we try to have a bigger Q&A sessions, if any. Right, as both of you are actually from really the bigger university, right, society, right, suddenly you have to stop something. You haven't stopped everything, right, because you are both slashers, right? You have your business, you have your NGO, and then you also study, and also you shared about a wonderful life. What triggers you to really take this step forward, right? Okay, I have to reallocate my time and be a student in this full-time program. How was your journey on that part? So as to encourage those who are listening to really take this step forward.
Maybe Jay first.
Okay, I guess my point was actually I wanted to make a change. Startup people, we always love changes, and most importantly, I think what triggers me is that there are social unrest in Hong Kong, honestly. And there are lots of people talking about different kinds of things, the politics in Hong Kong, all these things. So I was shared with an alumni from Dragon as well, that there was an opportunity from HKFYG to apply for this program, to go to Singapore to study, to know more about the world. And yeah, that really triggers me. And I was thinking like, why wouldn't I just join this program, give it a try, and try to see the world from another perspective? Maybe I can study in Singapore and see what is happening in Hong Kong. Maybe I'll get, a totally new angle to understand it, to analyze it. And, even for my startups, I guess that's actually a very good way to inspire new ideas and how to, create a better or greater value to the society. And that's why I applied for the program.
And to me, because I was working on some NGOs project, and actually I also answered similar questions when I was doing a focus group with my school earlier. And then I said, actually, before joining the program, I regard myself as an outsider of the circle in the NGO or in the policy practitioner, because it is not my expertise, and honestly, I'm not very experienced in this kind of field, but I have some nice touching with the people, with all the people around, but I didn't get a systematic understanding about how can we actually tackle some social issues. And that's why, to me, studying the MPA is something to get some fresh perspective and also to get the knowledge more consolidated on how we can actually, for the NGO, for the other organization, how we can actually make a more systematic change for the society. That is on my wish. And then I think somehow I achieved that because it is something very valuable about all the systematic thinking, all the theories, all the practice that we learn from the school.
Yeah, thank you both. I have one more question before going to Jackie. I guess, I mean, with the internet, right, we can search all sorts of information, right? And just now, both of you actually have mentioned the very rigorous class activities, no matter it's online or physical, right? A lot of academic work. How did you see the difference of really taking a proper master's program compared to, I mean, if you just simply Google online, if you just listen to some tech talks, maybe, how's that academic experience have really inspired you?
To me, I think it is because of the classmates. Because as you may know, Singaporeans are very hardworking, and it is true. They are really, really hardworking, and they're very serious towards their studies. And that's why I think with this atmosphere, actually you can learn a lot, and you can also somehow push yourself further, because when you see all your classmates working very hard together with the same project, and also working on some very fun details of the policy level of all the assignment, I think you need to keep up the standard. And so that I think it is something quite different when you are just doing something online without the peers. So I think the PS is actually quite interesting mix.
Yeah, so for me, I guess there is a very fundamental difference between studying a master program or and Googling knowledge online. So of course there are so many knowledge that you can learn from Google, but I guess one important thing is the mentality of study. How do you think? How do you do a proper research? How do you do scientific analysis? How do you understand these knowledges? These kind of things aren't be able to learn just simply Googling it. Because when you're Googling, the word, for example, like public policy, you know what is the explanation or definition of public policy. But deep down, there are so many different kinds of interpretation about these wordings. So I specifically remember, the definition of public policy. I just share, in my deck or the slides. It was actually interpreted by a professor in the NUS. It kind of inspired me that public policy is more than just, about government and all these things. Actually, every organization needs policies, and public policy is just a greater mass. So I guess this kind of interpretation, you can't just learn it, on the internet. So I guess that is a very fundamental difference between studying a master program or you just Googling all these knowledges online.
Okay, thank you both. Perhaps it's really time to have my colleague, Jackie, to tell the audience a little bit about the program and how exciting it will be, giving you better intellectual foundation on it. Jackie, please.
Hello. So thank you very much for coming to the briefing section. So thank you, Jay, and also thank you, Dan, for the sharing. And I would like to have some key points to look for the scholarship nomination. Okay. So here is the important dates that you need to be remembered. So this year, the application deadline will be 4th of December, 2021. And we'll have the interview on the 8th of December, 2021. So it will be an online interview, which will be happening from 6 to 10 p.m. Hong Kong time. So I see some of the participants already asked what will be the interviews like. So that will be an online interview. So if you are not in Hong Kong, you can still apply for it. And we'll announce the result on 10th of December. And then we'll follow up with you the procedures of the nomination. So for the eligibility, so for MPP, that it will be a 2 years degree. So for the eligibility, so it will be like an equivalent degree, such as a 4-year bachelor degree with an average grade of B or better or A. And for MPA, it would be a bachelor degree and a minimum work. Minimum 5 years of relevant work experience. So, which means MPA, you need to have a relevant working experience so that you can apply for it. And for also, that will be for the nomination, that will be you need to be a Hong Kong permanent resident and you must be aged under 40. So the connections with HKFYG or HR will be an advantage. And some of the FAQs before you have any questions. So if the nomination is a guaranteed success, the answer is no. And there's some candidates we nominated, but then finally, for some reasons, NUS didn't admit them. And the second question is the benefits of scholarship nomination. So why from us? It's because we have an exclusive and direct track for the Lee Kuan Yew School of Public Policy. They have a pre-assessment and also some kind of like an assistance. So that will be a direct track. Last but not least, so can you apply for the program directly? And the answer is yes, but then you will miss out the advantage just we mentioned of being nominated by us. So we have already prepared something for you. So for the information pack, for example, the nomination letter, as well as the program details and overall program brochures, you can visit the information pack QR code. You can put it here, or you can type in the link. And also for application, please visit our or details, please visit our website. So this is our website and also the QR code. So if you have any questions, so you can visit our website. And if you do have any specific questions here, please feel free to ask us. So yeah, this is the general briefing. So for more details, you can visit our website or email us. That's the bit of the administration process. And I will pass the time to...
Okay, thank you, Jackie. We still have like 10 minutes. Yeah, so I think the audience has a better understanding about the program. So I would open it to Jay or Dan or Jackie. I think just based on the readings about the program, MPP, MPA, it looks like quite similar, right? Public policy, public administration. Of course, they are different, right? What's your advice to the audience if they are choosing between, other than the time matter, right? One year and 2 years. What's your advice? Should they hit MPP or should they hit MPA? And how that would help them achieve their goals?
Okay, maybe let me share from the MPA perspective and correct me, Jay, if you have a understanding. And to me, I think the MPP actually is, I would say, more comprehensive training because it gives you a very solid foundation with all the theories. And also for the MPP, when you are looking into more details, you also need to take some fundamental policy, fundamental classes, and also the quantitative analysis for different semesters. And so that in another sense, it will be more challenging if your mathematics skill is not that good for the MPP. While for the MPA, because it is a 1-year program, and usually it is more for the senior people, the people who are more senior, and that's why it is more condensed and more concise. And we actually, for over the past year, I didn't touch with many maths, except the core module in the economics. And so that I think it may be something very practical for you to consider about your mathematics skills and whether you are familiar and comfortable with all the statistics and the quantitative methods.
Okay, thank you, Dan. Jay, would you like to add anything?
Yeah, I guess another biggest difference between MPP and MPA is that your future planning maybe. So I guess for me, from my understanding, it seems like MPP is more for academic career path. So a lot of our classmates, they are kind of like pursuing a PhD after the MPP program. So they've been connected with a lot of professors, studying a lot of that kind of thing. So that's why we need to study a lot of mathematics. And some outstanding classmates, of course, they went to elsewhere, other countries to further study about public policy, to experience different things. So I guess that could be a very big difference as well.
I see. Any additional tips from Jackie?
Well, I believe that's a requirement for MPA. That's for working experience, because actually NUS really when they review a candidate's ability, MPA must really take into a great percentage of working experience, because they expect that you got some kind of working experience, so that you understand what you're approaching and what you really want, and then you definitely think that this course is benefit to you. So I mean, for MPA, that will be they really focus on the working experience. Yeah.
Okay, so very quickly, there's a question about the coming interview, if that could be Jackie. So is it virtual or is it physical? Just to make it clear.
Thank you. So the interview will be a virtual interview. So if you registered for in the application form, we are assigned an interview time slot with you, and that will be on the 8th of December, as I shared before, and it will be at Hong Kong time, night 6 to 10. Yes.
Okay, so I'm trying to seize the time. So Dan and Jay, added to your sharing, could you just help us map out a little bit the day if I would be a student of MPP, MBA, how my one day would look like? Wake up 7 o'clock, no breakfast, and then start, all the groups you have mentioned, right? WhatsApp groups, chat, and then Professor, how's that?
Okay. Actually, it depends on which elective module you are starting, and because some of the elective are in the morning, and for the morning class usually it start in 9 a.m. and for the afternoon class it start about 2 p.m. And so first it depends on the elective module. If the core module is not in the morning, and then actually apart from that, you will be busy with all the readings and some of the modules. They will have some really quiz. They will have some really assignments, and you also need to be prepared for the case study, because you are very encouraged to participate in the class discussion. And that's why I think for a day it will be when you get the breakfast, and then you will do some reading, and then you go to the campus, or you do it online, and then you attend for the lecture. It will be for 3 hours. And then after that, you will need to summarize a little to consolidate your learning, and then you will better prepare for another day, because it will be, you have about 4 or 5 modules for each semester at least, so that the workload, as Jay said, is quite crazy somehow, and you need to better be more hardworking, and prepare for it.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, at least most of the time, I guess it's similar with Dan's experience. So it's a 9 o'clock class each weekday. And, of course, you don't have to wake up early during the weekend. But you will do that due to the heavy workload. So, but I kind of love it because it's regular. So you have to get up early. Not that early. I actually get up, almost the time, when the class started. I get to this class and then finish the class, have lunch, and then I'll start the material for the next class before, right after the class is end. So that's how I spend every day. Morning class, afternoon study, or maybe working with our classmates about, those group projects or readings. And during the weekend, you have to read a lot of case studies, get prepared for the class, and that's pretty regular and packed. So yeah, I kind of love it.
Okay, so I'm sure Dan and Jay are the very outstanding students, and I keep nodding heads because I'm also taking a master's program. So it's really another level of work. But because of these conditions, it really puts your higher level of leadership, right? Leading yourself and also pursuing something bigger to serve bigger impact. So in my final 2 minutes, I would love to have all my speakers, including Dan and Jay, probably also from Jackie, to share one key advice that our audience must know about this determination of applying for this scholarship, like seize the chance or do it now. Yeah, something they must know. Yeah, and then we will end up the session.
Yes, just do it. This is a great program.
I love it, Jay.
Yeah, a great opportunity.
Don't think too much, right?
Yeah, don't think too much. I mean, I never thought of I can have the chance to talk with the public policy head of, Grab or be that kind of big companies. So most of the people thought that public policy is boring stuff, but no, it's not. It's very interesting.
Yeah. And actually, Vincent, as our audience is asking, what's the unique thing about pursuing MPP or MPA? And I'm sure you're already answering it. Yeah, Dan?
To me, I think it's don't be afraid about the potential failure. Actually, for the first year of the admission, I didn't get the MPA, but then I tried in the second year and I did it. So I think no matter what, you can give it a try, and then at least you will learn some experience and learn how you can improve. And yeah,
very good attitude. And Jackie?
Yes, I would like to refer to some questions first before I end. And someone asked, is it possible to have the MPA and MPP in part-time outdoor? The answer is no. The scholarship is for full-time. So that means the MPP is 2 years full-time, MPA is 1 year full-time. And there's no preference of backgrounds of candidates, as I shared in the PowerPoint. And for other things,
but I would love to add on Jackie's point, because Jay has mentioned it, right? Of course, for some of the programs, it really needs your understanding of what has been doing, right, in public policy, right? And if you are not directly from it, connect the dots, right? Let the panel understand why you want to pursue the degree, right? If you're from business, then okay, why bother taking an MPP and MPA, right? I think Jay is an excellent example, coming from a tech startup and then all that, how that would be related to MPP and MPA, right? So tell your story in the way you want. Yeah.
Yes, and my conclusion is Vincent's question. So Dan already answered. So why Singapore or why NUS instead of other locations? As my answer is very simple. It's because NUS is one of the top, not just Asia, but also global institutions, especially for the Kuan School of Public Policy. It's nearly, I can guarantee you, it's one of the most renowned universities of public policy around the world. So that's why it's a really good opportunity and precious opportunity that we can refer nominate you to the scholarship. So that will be my conclusion is, yes, please register. It's for your own good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much to Jackie and of course our wonderful speakers, Jay and Dan. I promise to end on time. I'm sure we cannot entertain all the questions, but actually quite a number of the questions can be found at our website and also at the and the website of the school, actually there are questions about can it be part-time or why that has to be full-time, all that. But of course, if you still have questions about the scholarship, feel free to contact us, the Secretariat, or if the question is really about the program itself, I do suggest you contacting the university, right? And of course, today we don't have a lot of time to talk about the HKFYG Leadership Institute. As you can see, my background is actually a revitalized historic sites, the former family magistracy. And actually this coming weekend, tomorrow, Sunday, we have a pop-up youth bazaar. Okay, so make a trip to Fanling, visit us, or directly ask about our staff about the scholarship. And I really look forward to meeting you at the interview and also our future programs, so that we can also be equipped with competence and strengthen our commitment to serving Hong Kong and the world. So once again, thank you very much for joining us, and I see you next time.